Inflation cooled down in March but still remains high at 7.6%. Former American President Donald Trump enters a not guilty plea on his indictment for 34 counts of felony. Church leaders enumerate the simplest ways to show devotion to God this Holy Week. Focused and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. Inflation cooled in March with slower increases in the food and transportation indices driving the downward trend. Fresh data from the Philippine Statistics Authority shows headline inflation in the country settling at 7.6% last month. That's lower than the 8.6% logged in February and the 8.7% print in January. The latest figure brings the country's year-to-date inflation to 8.3%. The March figure is also within the Bangko Central's forecast range of 7.4 to 8.2% in March, but is still way beyond the BSP's target range of 2 to 4%. The slower inflation was mainly driven by food and non-alcoholic beverages group, which posted a lower increase rate of 9.3% from 10.8% in February. This is followed by transportation costs, which has eased to 5.3% from the previous 9%. Meanwhile, core inflation climbed to 8% in March from 7.8% in February. And China warns that increased American military presence in the Philippines only serves to escalate tensions in the region. This as the Philippine government announced the 4 additional locations under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, with the United States. Beijing denounced the move as Washington's attempt to strengthen its military deployment in the region.
事实非常清楚，美方出于一己私利，抱持零和思维，不断在本地区加强军事部署。 其结果必然是加剧局势紧张，危害地区和平稳定。地区国家应该深入地想一想，到底什么才是合适的，什么才是互利的，从而做出真正有利于自身利益、有利于地区和平稳定。
However, the U.S. Pentagon reiterated that it has no intentions of establishing permanent military bases in the Philippines.
We're not seeking permanent basing here, so you're going to see an increase of rotational forces in the region, but this is more about supporting combined training, being able to respond to natural disaster or humanitarian disasters in the region, but this is really about regional readiness.
And former U.S. President Donald Trump pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of felony for falsifying business records. Trump is being accused of paying hush money to adult film star Stormy Daniels to keep his sexual encounters from being brought up during the 2016 presidential campaign. With the indictment, Trump is the first former U.S. president to face criminal charges. According to a Manhattan district attorney, the scheme of payoffs to suppress negative information violates the New York election law.
The defendant repeatedly made false statements on New York business records. He also caused others to make false statements. One of the 3 people that they paid to keep quiet was a woman named Stormy Daniels. That payment was to hide damaging information from the voting public. The participant scheme was illegal.
We have more stories for you after this quick break. Stay with us here on One News. You are still with us here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Some Filipinos go to extremes in observing Holy Week traditions. But as mobile journalist Diana Pascual tells us, there are far more simple yet valuable ways to express faith and penance.
The Filipino faithful have different ways of commemorating the Passion of Christ this Holy Week. But if you still haven't settled on what to do to express your faith, the church says you can start with something simple like fixing of bad attitude. The Catholic Church explains, acts like fasting and abstinence are some Holy Week sacrifices done by the faithful to express gratefulness for Jesus' ultimate sacrifice on the cross. And in this modern age, the Church says, the faithful can start with a simple act of improving their behavior.
Magagawa nila yan sa pamagitan ng pag-give up ng something na alam nila na hindi naman maganda, no? Like for example, masyadong silang nakatutok sa gadget, no? So baka pwede naman nila i-give up yun, no, once in a while, no?
The church adds that devotees do not need to participate in extreme acts of penitence like ritual crucifixion. What they can sacrifice instead are bad attitudes like being rude or easily angered.
Ito ay isang napakagandang pagsasakripisyo ng mga pagbibigay natin, pag-give up natin sa mga ugaling ito sa pagbago sa ating mga sarili. Dahil yun naman talaga ang mensahe ng ating Panginoong Hesus sa atin.
This Holy Week, the Church says it's also important for Filipinos to show their love for others, which can be done through simple acts like helping those in need or spending time with family, friends, and loved ones.
Napakagandang opportunity ang Lent for us to reflect sa ating mga buhay, hindi yung buhay ng iba. No? Para tingnan natin kung ano yung kailangan nating baguhin para maisabuhay natin ang ninanais ng ating Panginoong Hesus para sa atin, na tayo ay magmahalan, na tayo ay mamuhay na mapayapa at magbibigay ng ginhawa sa ating kapwa.
Mobile journalist Diana Pascual, we are One News.
And here are some reminders for you this Holy Week. The operations of train lines are suspended for the long holiday. The LRT-1, LRT-2, MRT-3, and the Philippine National Railways, or PNR, will suspend all trips from April 6 to 9. That's from Monday, Thursday to Easter Sunday. All 4 train lines will resume normal operations on Monday, April 10. Authorities are temporarily allowing provincial buses to ply EDSA from April 6 to 10. This is to accommodate passengers who are traveling this Lenten season. Heads up, the number coding scheme is also suspended starting today until Monday, the Day of Valor, or Araw ng Kagitingan. EDSA busway stations will likewise remain operational round the clock for the entire Holy Week. Pickup and drop-off points of the busway near MRT-3 stations will be accessible to all passengers. One News Now will be back on Monday at 7 a.m. Have a restful break, everyone. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News. All sides, all the time.